In this 25th anniversary year of September 11th, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation continues to honor America's heroes. Heroes like Fire Lieutenant Michael Wells, who was inspired by 9/11 to serve his community. After 14 dedicated years of service, he lost his battle with occupational cancer, leaving behind his wife, Katie, and their 3 children. Tunnel to Towers honored Lieutenant Wells by paying off the family's mortgage in recognition of his sacrifices. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Unbelievable. Jimmy Kimmel defends his Melania Trump, the comment that he made as it relates to the First Lady and, quote, expected widow alleged joke after the First Lady and President continue to call for his firing, and Kimmel had the nerve to even double down last night.
You know how sometimes you wake up in the morning and the First Lady puts out a statement demanding you be fired from your job? We've all been there, right? You've been there, right, Guillermo? Yeah, sure. What a day.
King Charles expected to address a joint session of Congress momentarily during this official state visit. The moment it happens, we'll take you live to Washington. And out of Minnesota, look at here. Lame duck Governor Tim Walz makes a stunning turnabout. I wonder what's going on after the federal raids on the Minnesota daycare centers that occurred today. Now, remember, he previously denounced the fraud investigations as, quote, white supremacy. So in a thread on X on Twitter, the 2024 Democratic nominee for vice president, that is, said that he's putting criminals, quote, on notice and tried to even take credit for the investigations. Let's go right ahead and open up the phone lines. We have a lot to get to. 800-848-9222. The number to reach me live right now, 800-848-9222. Jimmy Kimmel having the nerve to double down on his insulting comment.
You know how sometimes you wake up in the morning and the First Lady puts out a statement demanding you be fired from your job? We've all been there, right? Seeing yet another Twitter vomit storm. And a call to fire me from our First Lady, Melania Trump, saying I should be fired because of a joke I made, again, 5 nights ago. It was a pretend roast. I said, our First Lady Melania is here. Look at her, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow, which obviously was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. It was a very light roast joke about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not by any stretch of the definition a call to assassination, and they know that. I've been very vocal for many years speaking out against gun violence in particular, but I understand that the First Lady had a stressful experience over the weekend, and probably every weekend is pretty stressful in that house. And also, I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband about it, because
you are disgusting, Jimmy Kimmel. We see all your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. King Charles joint session before Congress just receiving a standing ovation. Let's take you live to Washington.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of Congress, representatives of the American people across all states, territories, cities, and communities. I would like, if I may, to take this opportunity to express my particular gratitude to you all for the great honor of addressing this joint meeting of Congress, and on behalf of the Queen and myself, to thank the American people for welcoming us to the United States to mark this semi-quincentennial year of the Declaration of Independence. And for all of that time, for all of that time, our destinies as nations have been interlinked. As Oscar Wilde said, we have really everything in common with America nowadays, except, of course, language. So, ladies and gentlemen, we meet in times of great uncertainty, in times of conflict from Europe to the Middle East, which pose immense challenges for the international community and whose impact is felt in communities the length and breadth of our own countries. We meet too in the aftermath of the incident not far from this great building that sought to harm the leadership of your nation and to foment wider fear and discord. Let me say with unshakable resolve, such acts of violence will never succeed. Whatever our differences, whatever disagreements we may have, we stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy, to protect all our people from harm, and to salute the courage of those who daily risk their lives in the service of our countries. Standing here today, it is hard not to feel the weight of history on my shoulder, because the modern relationship between our two nations and our own peoples spans not merely 250 years, but over 4 centuries. It is extraordinary to think that I am the 19th in our line of sovereigns to study with daily attention the affairs of America. So I come here today with the highest respect for the United States Congress, this citadel of democracy created to represent the voice of all American people to advance sacred rights and freedoms. Speaking in this renowned chamber of debate and deliberation, I cannot help but think of my late mother, Queen Elizabeth, who in 1991 was also afforded this signal honour and similarly spoke under the watchful eye of the Statue of Freedom above us. Today, I am here on this great occasion in the life of our nations to express the highest regard and friendship of the British people to the people of the United States. Now, as you may know, when I address my own Parliament at Westminster, we still follow an age-old tradition and take a member of Parliament hostage.
And so there you have it. You are listening to King Charles live, a joint session of Congress in the nation's capital. We'll be monitoring this, and we may be going back to it live. Dominic Carter here with you, 800-848-9222. A lot of you want to talk about this clown, Jimmy Kimmel, And we're going to do exactly that right now. And coming up in about 15 minutes, give or take, I'll be talking live to former Congressman Peter King. Let's start with your telephone calls. Line 5, Susan in New Jersey. Susan, good afternoon on this very busy news day. What's on your mind?
Hello, Dominic. Thank you so much for taking my call. So what's on my mind is, anybody who's listening to your show, quite frankly, is kind of already on our side. So all this nonsense about people, talking about Jimmy Kimmel, we agree with you. So why do you even give him any airtime? Why do we even speak?
Susan, whoa. I don't do well when people start telling me what I should focus on and what not to focus on. You made a statement that's not true. You said everybody listening to this show is on my side, and agreeing that Kimmel did something awful. That's not true. My audience is very, very broad. I have those that support our point of view. I also have a lot of Democrats that listen to the show. So I'm unlike other shows. I get viewers from all different points of political view. But Susan, do you really want to listen to a news outlet that's just going to tell you what you want to hear all day long? Is that what you really want?
No, I don't, and that is why I will listen to CNN. I will listen to MSN Now or whatever they call themselves, and I will listen to Fox News. And sometimes, I have to turn it off because it's just too much. But what I'm saying is that I think it is clear that what Jimmy Kimmel does is horrible, and how he speaks about our president. And I was not a fan of President Obama, but he's the president of my United States of America. I think there should be respect for that office, regardless of what party line you're on. And it seems the Democrats have gone away from that. And I apologize that, you have Democrats listening to you, but I can't understand how we give any airtime to this loser who is Jimmy Kimmel.
But you say he's a loser, and I agree with you. I call him a whole lot worse. But you do understand, Susan, that he reaches millions every single night throughout the entire country, and in fact, throughout the world. You do realize that, right?
I do realize that, but then I was listening to Sid this morning, and it's like, so
I can't speak for whatever Sid or any other host says, but go ahead.
ABC take him on or keep him on. That's not for us to decide. For us.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry, Susan. I didn't hear you said what? You listened to Sid, and what was the rest of it? I didn't hear it.
Well, he, had a guest on. I forget the guy's name, but
okay.
He said, well, why, why would people be listening to Jimmy Kimmel if he has no ratings, so to speak, as you guys say, or Sid said.
Right.
And I'm not going to say you agree to that, whatever. But to me, it's just like, oh my God, please, can we just get on with the facts at hand and not speak on party lines and think
that's unfortunately, I got to take a break, Susan. Thank you for the call. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But Susan, I frankly think it would be reckless if we did not discuss the issues at hand every day. I am not going to, if you think this is the case, you're never going to get this from me. I'm not going to spoon feed you news that you want to hear. I'm going to give you a wide variety of what's going on. And we can minimize Jimmy Kimmel all we want to, but every call I have lined up here is about Kimmel. People want to sound off, and he is very much a news item these days, very much so. So we just agree to disagree on that. It is time for a break, and we are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we'll be getting back to your telephone calls. This past weekend, one of the owners of the Red Apple Audio Network's Mrs. Margot Catsimatidis sat down with legendary columnist Cindy Adams to talk about her background, her upbringing, her life. I found the interview to be fascinating, and I want you to listen to a clip of it. This is Cindy Adams talking to one of the billionaire owners of this network, Margot Catsimatidis.
Margot Catsimatidis, she's gorgeous, she's skinny, she's blonde, she's everywhere. I would like to know how Margot Catsimatidis grew up. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school?
I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. I went to Sacred Heart School. After I graduated, I had a 4-year scholarship to college, and I graduated at 16 years old. And I told my parents, if I don't leave now, I'll never get out of Indiana. So I left with $100 in my pocket. And when I got to New York, I felt like I came home.
What did you do with the $100?
I had to eat. I stayed with friends. The second day I was here, I got the lead in an off-Broadway show. The second day I was here, and so one day I was shopping in the store. He just opened up, and the bagger at the checkout said to me, "The owner doesn't have a secretary. Do you want to apply?" And I was recovering from a surgery, and I needed to get a job. And before I left Indiana, my father told me I better learn a skill just in case something happens. Well, I could type 90 words a minute. So I went for the interview, I got the job, and I told John he was the most disorganized person I'd ever met. I started cleaning his office up. He was the first person to program computers for accounts payable, receivables, all that. And there I was. So
how much did you earn? How much did you earn?
Oh, you really don't want to know that.
I want to know. I want to know. Since I now work for him, I want to know. How much?
$47 a week.
What did you blow it on?
They put me in for a raise, and I'm still teasing the guy that gave me a 25-cent raise. And I was working 90 hours a week, and they paid me for 40. But I learned everything. There were 3 of us doing everything to run the company, to make it grow. I mean, it was always an awesome experience. I learned more there than I could have in college about business. So, and then I decided I wanted to dance again, and I went to Switzerland. I auditioned for a ballet company. I got the job, and I said thank you, but no thank you, because I knew my knee wouldn't hold out. So I came back, and I never left.
And that, of course, is Margot Catsimatidis, the legendary co-owner of this network, who does so much for so many of us. And folks, let me be very clear and very honest with you. If not for Mrs. Catsimatidis, and especially her, but Mr. Catsimatidis as well, I would not be here. She was the first one that said, Dominic, in a private meeting, we believe in you. We're going to figure this out. We're going to move you to a great slot. So that's how that all came about. A bit later, I'll have a smaller clip about how she actually met Mr. Catsimatidis. But when we come back, we're going to talk live to former Congressman Peter King.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Since its founding, more than 2,300 scholarships have been awarded, opening doors for Americans from all walks of life to study at the United Kingdom's leading universities.
And, of course, that is King Charles speaking live right now before a joint session of Congress. He started out referencing what happened Saturday night at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Joining me now, as always, former Congressman Peter King. Congressman, how are you? How's your family?
Dominic, we're all doing great. And how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I want to get right to it because we have a lot to talk about. So the king speaking now before a joint session of Congress, and all of this comes as the Prime Minister of the UK refused to let the U.S. use their air bases against Iran. President Trump was very upset with that, but yet he appears to be a big fan of the king's, and he even noted that his mother thought that King Charles was cute, as the president said a while ago. What does this visit mean, in your opinion?
Yeah, actually, I think it means a lot, or it can mean a lot. I actually had the opportunity to meet with Prince Charles then. It was back in, I guess, 2011. It was right after bin Laden was killed, and right after right after the royal wedding between William and Kate. He was over here for a meeting, and I got invited down to the British Embassy, and I was one of the people there talking with him. In fact, I was all set to talk to him about world affairs, and Rosemary was with me. And the two of them got into a discussion about the wedding the week before. So I had to stand there and listen to that. But no, he was a great guy. And again, I found him very, very personable, very down to earth, really a great supporter of the United States and the relationship between the United States and Britain. I also had the opportunity to meet Queen Elizabeth several years before that. Again, that was only more of like a 1-minute conversation. But again, very, very gracious. And there is, listen, I'm Irish. I have a lot of issues with British misrule in Ireland over the years. And having said all that, we haven't had a stronger ally than the British, whether it's Churchill and FDR in World War II, whether it was Churchill and then other prime ministers since then throughout the Cold War, whether it was Tony Blair after 9/11. This has been a special relationship. And having been on the Homeland Security Committee and the Intelligence Committee, I can tell you that our two countries share intelligence. And even when there's tough times between the president and the prime minister, as far as I know, certainly then, and I would assume now, that ongoing share of intelligence continues. So we have a lot in common with them, and there are disputes. There's obviously right now. I think that the prime minister was wrong in not offering more help up front. Now, they are actually doing quite a bit now, and I know they are offering, I believe, to get involved with the minesweeping. But I think we're just talking about two different people, in President Trump and the British Prime Minister, who I'm not saying is in fairness to him, because it's up to him as a leader to stand up to it. But I think there is like an anti-American, certainly anti-Trump attitude among certain elements of the British, certainly among his more left-wing Labour Party. And so he's not given the same cooperation, like I said, that Tony Blair or Churchill or Margaret Thatcher would have given. But I hope it can be worked out, and because, again, we have a lot in common. And apart from all that, just practically, all the democratic countries of the world, I'm saying that with a small d, really have an obligation to work together, because there's evil forces out there led by, Islamist radicals, led by China, by Russia. There's a lot of enemy forces out there, potential enemies and current enemies. And so to the extent we can keep our alliance with the British strong, or remake it strong, and then also to have a better relationship with NATO, where they do step up and meet their obligations in a better way. It's better for all of us, but it's not going to come easy. And I give credit for the president to try to work his way through it.
Well, there are two things that I want you to listen to, Congressman King. One, sure. This is Mark Beckman, who is the senior advisor for the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump. He appeared on Fox News, and rightfully so, calling for Jimmy Kimmel to be terminated from ABC.
He responded last night. What does Melania think about that? Is she buying it?
It's done. It's over. Jimmy Kimmel should be terminated from ABC. And I think ABC needs to determine, is this the type of person and violent rhetoric that it wants to affiliate with? Think about it. ABC has been protecting Jimmy Kimmel now for a long time. This isn't an isolated incident. It's been going on and on and on. And the problem, as you're very well aware, is that there are crazy people out there who are listening to this violent rhetoric, this terrible political-oriented violent rhetoric, and they're turning it into action. So for the third time now, our president has had his life at risk.
Yeah.
And it's because of this rhetoric. There's no doubt about it.
It's
so the First Lady's had enough.
So, Congressman King, your take on this situation? I think that Jimmy Kimmel is a sleazebag looking to get paid off of the back of the president and the First Lady. Your take on this situation?
I think you and I would use worse language if we weren't on the air. No, he's a real lowlife.
Absolutely.
And when he tries to pass it off, well, I was just talking about Donald Trump being older than Melania and all that kind of nonsense. The fact is, you're talking about a president who has had 2 serious assassination attempts. One which came within about probably a half inch of killing him and murdering him. And so this isn't the context where you had some like Friars Club party and people joking around. You're talking about a president of the United States, the leader of the free world, who has had 2 very serious assassination attempts coming in with inches of killing him, murdering him. And also we know that there are any number of threats out there at any given time. And we also know with social media and with the growing number of mentally ill people in the country, that something like that is just an incentive. It gives them an excuse to attempt to take the life of the president. So, no, that's absolutely no excuse. If he means what he says, then he was a dope. If he's that ignorant not to realize the importance of his words with all the people he's speaking to on his show and joking about the president of the United States dying soon, then he's either kidding himself or trying to think, the rest of us are dopes that are falling for his line of BS.
Congressman, I think perhaps the biggest thing you said just now is that if you and I were not on the air right now, we would have much stronger language to say about Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, he's just despicable. I mean, anyway, and we both know he would never make a joke like that about Obama or Michelle Obama. Never in a million years. It just wouldn't happen. Okay, let's get now to second comment I want you to listen to. Norah O'Donnell, 60 Minutes, interviewing President Trump, and she actually quotes from this nuts manifesto asking the President of the United States of America ridiculous questions that no reputable journalist would ever ask. And this is the way Bill O'Reilly responded to that.
O'Donnell had no cause to read the ramblings of a loon. None. Yet she tried to humiliate the President of the United States, who was just attacked. And it was edited. There isn't one person in CBS who knows that. That's called gutter snipe reporting. That's what the National Enquirer does. Oh, look who said this about you. It's not true. Then why are you throwing it out there? You can't do that if you're a responsible journalist. You have to verify it. So the president was absolutely 100% correct in saying to Miss O'Donnell, who I know, okay, you should be ashamed of yourself of reading that. And she should be, but she's not. I'm just doing my job. No, you're not. Talk about malpractice. My God.
Congressman King.
I agree with I agree with O'Reilly completely there. And the fact is that, first of all, at one level, she's also almost saying that the President of the United States has an obligation to defend himself against the rantings of a madman and an attempted assassin. So you have one of the most powerful people in the world being put on the same level as an ultimate lowlife. I mean, that to me was, just to begin with, is bad enough. Secondly, to bring up these scandalous charges, which is no basis. And once they're out there, she knows that many people listening, all they know was that now we're talking about Epstein and the president, and it somehow raises those charges back up. It puts him, she thought, on defense. And so I'm glad he didn't even try to explain anything, just basically go at her and tell her how wrong she was. And I agree with Bill O'Reilly. I mean, I'm not a journalist. He is. But just from what I know about journalism, and you certainly would, I'm sure agree, Dominic, you're a great journalist, is you don't you don't ask somebody to defend themselves against scurrilous charges if there's no basis for them. I mean, that's just, it's horrible, absolutely horrible, especially when you're talking to the President of the United States after an attempt on his life to bring this up. It's one thing if he was trying to hide from some scandal in the past. The fact is, there's absolutely nothing at all to back up this. It's been disproven. It's been discarded. And for her to bring that up at this time, at any time, but especially at this time, was indefensible.
It was really garbage journalism. Congressman King, I want to end on this note. And I want to make this comment to the audience, and we see all your telephone calls. We're going to get to them. That the congressman, every week, he has no idea what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to ask him. He just rolls with the flow, and he does so in an expert manner. So, Congressman, you may disagree with me on this one. My contention, after having been around the Secret Service going back to 1988, I don't see anything that they did wrong Saturday night. Now, could there have been a second layer of protection so that if somebody gets past the first one? Perhaps. But, some people are just bashing them. What's your take on what happened Saturday night?
First of all, the agents on the ground did all they had to do, expected to do, and they did it well. They did it brilliantly, and put their lives in the line. And as far as whether or not there should have been more perimeters of defense, the fact is that hotel has been used for more than 50 years. I've been to a number of the dinners, again, with the presidents there over the years. This has not occurred before. And he was stopped. He got nowhere near the room. But no, I think it may be difficult to have events there in the future, because now that we know a person checked himself into the hotel, and no matter where you put those magnetometers, they're going to be so close. They are still going to be close to the staircase leading downstairs to the level where the ballroom is. And so a person with explosives, if you come charging through those magnetometers, and you make it just another, 40, 50 feet, I haven't been there in a while, whatever, and get to that staircase, then you can, either explode yourself, blow up yourself, throw an explosive device, just kill a lot of innocent people. So I think they should consider having it like in a convention center, a place that can be totally secured, because there's 1,000 rooms, like 1,007 rooms in that hotel. So if there's 1 or 2 people in each room, you're talking about somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 people. You can't be having all of them have their backgrounds checked. You can't have their rooms being inspected to see if there's any weapons coming in. It becomes almost impossible. Plus, having 2,500 people coming in that night. Also, another thing, I think, forgetting the fact of a terrorist threat, even just if there was a fire, that room, you can't move. The chairs are literally back to back. And if you notice, like the Secret Service guys were leaping from table to table because there was no lane for them, to go through. So I think a lot has to be looked at. But as far as that night, they did what they had to do. And boy, it's so easy to criticize. Anytime there's any incident, you can find someone. This could have been done. That could have been done.
Thank you.
But if you're the man and woman on the spot, you're going to make quick decisions. And again, the fact is, this guy succeeded, and there was no loss of life, and there was no serious injury. So to me, it could be better going forward, but based on what was known, I think they did an excellent job.
Congressman King, it's always great to chat with you, and you're so correct. It's always so easy to criticize Hollywood. Well, I would have spun around and dropped down to my knee and did a somersault and then shot him. All of this nonsense. Congressman King, thank you so much. As always, thank you for joining us.
And Rosemary's waving. She said, send my love to Dominic. So there you go.
Oh, I'm sending it right back. I'm sending it right back. Thank you, Congressman. Folks, I've got to take a break. We see all of your telephone calls. When we come back, I mentioned Mrs. Katsimatides, one of the owners of this network. We're going to play a short clip from her of how she met Mr. Katsimatides and their relationship. And then we're going right to your telephone calls.
Adobe Firefly is the all-in-one creative studio with AI-powered image and video editing for today's creative process. Built for creators of every kind, Firefly helps you generate, edit, and experiment fast. Because the asks aren't getting smaller, the budgets aren't getting bigger, and the timelines, still tight. With all the best creative AI models in one place, Firefly brings your ideas to life. Unlock a better way to make with Adobe Firefly.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thoughts of the day before I move as quickly as I can through your phone calls with the time that we have left. I mentioned the owners of this network, Margot and John Catsimatidis. Mrs. Catsimatidis sat down with legendary columnist Cindy Adams just recently, and I just want you to hear this short clip where she continued to talk about her background, upbringing, and how her and Mr. Catsimatidis, I believe, started dating here.
So then when you came back from Switzerland, obviously you had to come back. So tell me about meeting him and dating him and getting married and all the rest of that.
No, we didn't actually date for 3 years. He took me out for a piece of cheesecake.
Oh, geez.
So
the man's a spender. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah. Okay, so after the cheesecake, I don't want to do anything personal, but what happened after the cheesecake?
No, we were just, I worked all the time. Basically, it was about growing the company and just, he always had the sixth sense about things. And I knew God put him here for a reason. He was, and he still is, the most amazing guy I know. He can figure out a problem that nobody else can figure out. He still amazes me to this day, and it's 54 years later.
And there you have it, Margot Catsimatidis, John Catsimatidis, the owners, the billionaire owners of this network. I say this all the time. Nobody around here works harder than either of them. We don't even have as an excuse because they lead by example. All right, let's get to your telephone calls. Line 1, folks, and I gotta go. I can't let anybody go on forever. Line 1, Sandra, New Jersey. What's on your mind, Sandra?
Oh, hi, Dominic. Listen, that Jimmy Kimmel, he's cruel. His jokes are cruel. And it's so personal that it's deepening the divide in this country. It's like all of us are getting affected. But what I want to say is we're not going to get rid of him, Dominic. I don't think so, because the rise that he's getting is exactly what he wants. So the only way, commercials have to stop. People have to stop listening, and people like that mentalist that didn't go on the show, more guests like that just have to stop going. I don't know how we're going to get rid of him any other way.
Maybe I'm on something here, Sandra, but I got a funny feeling ABC may finally dump him. There are calls being made about looking at their license. This guy is danger. He's got to go. I mean, I understand ABC may be between a rock and a hard place. They know that he's going to sue if they dump him, but he's got to go. This is poison. Thank you for the call, Sandra. It's poison that the American people can't take. Marie, line 2, New Jersey. What's on your mind, Marie?
Hi, Dominic. I have to say you are the best and my favorite. I don't know if that's appropriate.
Oh, thank you.
You are highly intelligent, and it's an honor and privilege to ask you this question.
But did you catch it? Did you catch it? Did you catch it, Marie? Did you catch it? Did you catch it?
What's that?
Did you catch it?
Yes, I caught it.
The love I just sent right back to you. Did you catch it?
I feel it. And I'm sending it back to you.
Okay, Marie, go right ahead.
And I'm not going to say anything about your diet because I'm whole food, plant-based vegan. But,
my diet. Oh, don't get Liz in Florida. Please don't get me started because she's going to start and I'm never going to hear the end of it. My diet, Marie, is horrendous. But you know what, Marie? You know what? Because I'm always stressed out. And so fast food. Anyway, Marie, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say real quick, I can make you the best healthy brownies that are good for diabetes, and they're made with not sugar, with a secret ingredient. But real quick.
But wait. They're not laced with anything where I'm going to be like feeling free on the air, right? It's not laced with marijuana, are they?
No, they are whole food, plant-based, and they are approved by a lot of prominent lifestyle doctors.
Okay. So Marie, I'm sorry, we have like 20 seconds left, so go ahead.
What the guests that were staying in the hotel on Saturday night that were not going to the gala and that they were checked in a few days before and staying into Saturday night, Was
Right.
there any type of background check done to see if anyone might have been suspicious?
I don't know, Marie. I'm out of time. That's a great question. Normally it's not. I don't know what happened in that situation. But Marie, I do want to hear from you again. Folks, born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been honoring America's heroes ever since. Donate $11 a month. Amplify your impact. Go to T2T.org. T, the number 2, T.org. I'm back live midnight.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?